Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us. Oh, I don't know how to intro this.
I don't either.
I
don't know the words.
What the other one I was
Shoopy goopy, stop picking on me.
I was gonna do I'm Supergirl and I need to save the world.
Or falling star.
I don't need wings to help me fly. Miracles happen. Let's just leave it all in. That's all the intro.
There you go. That was all the music. This was
Those songs are magical.
2001, wasn't it? So it was basically a 90s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 10.
That sounds
when
right.
That movie came out.
2001,
yeah, so,
I would have been 7, so.
Yeah, I was 10 turning 11. So.
Yep, that's right then. That is right
sweet
then.
Sweet spot of awkwardness.
You are 4 years older than me.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
When I remember watching it and obviously being very affected by it as a kid. And the scene where she's like getting ready. I used to go to a private school, like a Catholic Christian school. Yay. Not. But I remember getting my uniform on and I had like really frizzy hair and glasses. Mm-hmm. And I remember always saying to myself, as always, this is as good as it's gonna get. Exactly like that. And I always wished I had a fat Louie too. She kind of had the dream life, honestly.
Her house was
great. What happened
cool as hell. Her little loft area.
I know. I mean, really, she's like, I'm going to my tower when she's mad.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine stopping off from your mom when you're mad? Like, I'm going to my tower. Leave me alone. They need to go back to making movies like that for preteens and tweens.
I agree.
And rom-coms need to be like full-grown adults.
Yeah.
And we need to just bring this all back because we're severely lacking.
They were filming, or they were in the process of making Legally Blonde 3. They were in the process of making Princess Diaries 3, or they still are for both of those things. I don't remember what it was, but like the writers of a bunch of like early to late 2000s rom-coms were like working on a new project. I thought these movies were coming back when the J-Lo,
when that
what's
movie
his
dropped.
name? The Marry Me, Oscar, what the fuck is his? It's not Oscar. Owen Wilson. J-Lo, Owen Wilson. I thought they were coming back because that was pretty good. That was pretty reminiscent of what romantic comedy should be.
Well, I mean, you had the two people that were like of that era too, and
right.
I felt like maybe it's all back. But Kate Hudson, who's like rom-com queen, recently was like, it's hard to even get men to sign up for these, which is ridiculous. Like, they're fun. Just do a fun movie.
Why wouldn't
Hugh Grant made a whole career off these, and he was like amazing in them. And Matthew McConaughey did a couple too.
Matthew McConaughey did a lot of them. If you really think about it, he was in a lot.
He has one of the coolest careers I think I've ever seen. Like, he did funny rom-coms that he was actually really, really very good in. And then he did dramas like Interstellar. And like, I watched this season. I don't know if anyone out there else is a fan of like true crime stuff. He did True Detective on HBO with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Incredible in that. Like, he carried the season to me. But he's a good actor. So I don't know. You don't need to, it doesn't need to be like, it doesn't need to be teenagers. It doesn't need to be like college era level. Like, it needs to be grown adults. Like, the formula used to work. It worked. It infected my brain so bad that I thought I wanted to be an editor for a magazine because all the lead women in these movies were editors at magazines.
10
if you
Things
remember,
I Hate About You.
Especially
13 Going on 30.
And
10 Things I Hate About You.
No.
Or How to Lose a Guy. I'm sorry, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. She was like my idol. And I remember being like, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I really wanted to do editing. So listen, you're out there, you're molding minds, okay? You're shaping lives. We want to see adults falling in love, okay? Because I know Netflix tried to bring back some rom-com-y stuff with like The Kissing Booth And
Those were all kids.
All the boys I loved before. And
those were all
very
kids.
young, exactly.
The best Netflix rom-com, I don't know if you saw it, Set It Up, when those two, like...
with the two assistants.
With adults, yes.
Fantastic. I loved that, yeah. Have you ever seen, I don't know if I'm doing the title right. It's with Lily Collins.
Okay.
It's like, and she has a fake British accent in it. It's like Dear Rosie or something.
I don't think I've seen it, but that
and
sounds...
Sam Claflin, I believe.
Okay.
Finnick O'Dare.
Right.
He's the lead. He's actually British, I think. So she's like, but I don't know. Everyone always talks about it, and they're always like, that movie destroyed me. It wrecked me. Which makes me not want to watch it, but it also looks really good. So I'd like to talk to someone who has seen it. Love Rosie, Dear Rosie, something like that. I don't know. But we're definitely like missing it. Right now is the era of book talk girlies. Everyone's coming around and like not being pretentious fuckwits anymore about like romance books, and girls are leaning into it. Women are leaning into it and like really enjoying it. And like, yeah, we like romance. It's great. Don't knock it. Like, it's not just some stupid teenage thing. It's like, this is what you want in your real life. This is what you want to read about.
Coming? I was trying to think. I was like, where are all our old, like Jennifer Lawrence, Emma Stone, kind of like Kate Hudson? Like, yeah, they like kind of disappeared. Either they were queen of romance or they kind of like dropped off right before they probably would have gotten to that stage. Like, where are they? And then I was like, and where are all like the new guard coming in? I was like, why isn't Florence Pugh? Florence Pugh is doing a rom-com with Andrew Garfield, and I can't fucking wait for it. Yes,
that's gonna be really good. Hopefully, that brings in a new generation of it. I know they tried to do like Anna Faris did a movie, like a redo of Overboard from the 80s.
Yes, it wasn't awful. It wasn't awful.
I know, but I think the first one was so like beloved that was
and
hard
I mean
to live up to.
They were life partners, so it's like hard to
Yeah. And I know Jennifer Lawrence did recently do a movie. She did
oh yes,
it was a Netflix movie.
I did. That wasn't really a rom-com.
It was
though.
Pretty. No, but it was pretty funny.
It was good, but it was reminiscent of those early 2000s, all the boy like Superbad and like the Dane Cook movie. Yeah, it was the female version of that, which is fine. It was awesome, but it wasn't a rom-com.
Gonna pull it off better than Jennifer Lawrence,
but it wasn't a rom-com.
But I like that she's out there willing to do like a silly one, you know, because it's only one step away from a rom-com. Like we can't get Julia Roberts and Sandra Bullock back. They obviously don't want to do it anymore. They would be doing them. But
Sandra Bullock's not doing anything though. Like the last thing she did was The Proposal, wasn't it?
No, she did Ocean's.
Ocean's 8, yeah, but that was around the same time as The Proposal.
No, she did The Bird Box. She did more serious shit too.
Yeah.
This is kind of what happens. It seems like everyone wants to be taken more seriously, which I respect. It's your craft.
I don't know if it's because of the state of the world too. Like we were all just like, I don't know why people are like, the world is depressing. Let's make depressing shit. Like no, it makes me.
I know. There was like it's the apocalyptic movies. Really, the last 5-6 years have ramped up. It's time to bring it back down. I think. Give us back. What was that movie about the place in New York City? Serendipity.
I was like,
bring back Serendipity.
So vague.
Bring back. I was going to say John Cusack, but I don't know. I might be being too old.
Can you imagine naming your children John Cusack and Joan Cusack? Like, what kind of sadist?
I know. Well, Kimberly, Kendall, Kylie, Chloe.
Well, I mean, she is a sadist, so I don't know.
That's very true. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't imagine that. Like, if I have any number of kids, I don't want any of them to have the same starting letter. I don't like that at all.
My mom fucked up our names and we weren't even close. Like, she would, well, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe you haven't, well, I don't know. Your mom never did this. Like, you had 2 other siblings, so she had 3 kids.
Called me Jason and Jack all the time.
Oh, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. My mom would, or especially my 2 brothers, she would fuck up. But sometimes I would get one of their names and I was like, excuse me. Like,
the worst is when you have dogs, because then you get called the dog's name too. Benji, Rachel, shut up. That was it. And then she did Jason and Jack. Those are my 2 brothers. So she would just, Jace, Jack, Jace, Jack. Yeah. Be like, wow, you really needed to put some separation here, lady. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't imagine like having a Mia and a Michael and like a Morgan or something. Forget it. It's ridiculous. But whatever. I don't think Kris Jenner was raising those kids anyway. So what does she care? What do they care?
Exactly.
But
they all get separate nannies.
We are definitely like I hope to be approaching a renaissance of rom-coms, and we're trying to put that energy into the world by doing a month full of like feel good, early 2000s, awesome movies that everybody loves. Like, nobody is allowed to dislike these movies. You can't tell me that you don't like Princess Diaries. Don't tell me that. Keep that weird shit to yourself. It's a classic. It's great. It was able to capture some of my 7-year-old's attention last night. Some of it. But a lot of the, like, dialogue and stuff, she would wander off and be like, okay, I don't know what this royalty stuff means. What's a Genovia? She, like, you know, some of it just, she was bored. And kids also have, like, way less attention span than we do. Now, can you imagine? Like, they don't have to sit through commercials.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, I would have watched this when I was 7, and I obviously loved it. So
Exactly. But your breed of 7-year-old is very different from Gen Alpha's 7-year-old.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very, very different. Even putting on a movie like when you, like as a teacher, if I put on a movie for the kids.
When I watched this too, it would have been it was Disney Channel, and I had to watch it or I wasn't seeing it again. Like, you know, like it was not, I would have to wait, 4 months for the VHS release.
We were talking about when we were rewatching, me and George recently were rewatching Friends, and we were like, do you remember when there was a finale? You just had to wait.
Yeah.
And if you missed it, you're shit out of luck. Like, you have to figure out a TV guide.
You had to put the VHS in your VHS player, the blank VHS, and then you had to make sure that, like, it was recording.
When we eliminated all that by making strides in technology, we really limited the children's capacity for patience. Like, now everything is we used to have, they would call it like direct TV or instant TV or whatever. It wasn't instant. It wasn't like you could press it and go. You had to sit through commercials. You had to wait for things to load up. What people have today is truly instant. So kids don't have to wait for shit. So they don't want to sit through long dialogue. Like when I took Mia to see The Little Mermaid, a lot of those kids couldn't sit through it. A lot of the kids in the theater were like getting up, trying to walk around. They were talking through it. They can't, like, the attention span's gone. So
you know
we all got to work on that.
I watched Percy Jackson with my mom over the weekend. And by the way, we should sort that, but maybe not. I mean, we can't now.
I'll talk to you about it after because I think I have their houses. But
have you been watching it? I just read all of the books. I wanted to read the books before I watched it. So I just read all of the books and then watched it. So it's been on my mind. But watching Percy Jackson, I was like, they're putting commercial breaks. Like, we're so used to like streaming, especially streaming, just being straight through. I was like, they're putting commercial breaks in this show. And then I was like, oh, Disney Plus added commercial breaks. I don't have that tier, but that's the cheapest tier. So I was like, for me, it is very annoying because it's reminiscent of it's reminiscent of when they took like the movies that were on Disney Channel and like made them, and sometimes they didn't have the money to like smooth them out or whatever. So there was just like that obvious, this was a commercial break, and then you're like, what the fuck?
I know. It's gone. That shit is gone. Like, this is for Percy Jackson is the first one I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
It's obvious to me with commercials.
I have to imagine, though, like, I do appreciate Disney for that, and I'm sure that it's a hold on from Disney having been Disney Channel or whatever, because like Netflix is going to start doing commercials, but like Hulu does commercials during movies sometimes, and it's like fucking random in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, they were speaking, and it's in the middle of dialogue.
So it's very weird now to see, but it's like, I do agree that it's doubly frustrating for us having grown up with it because we're like, okay, we got rid of it.
Right.
Like we surpassed that hurdle. Please don't put that back. So if I watch like Grey's Anatomy or something, that's made for ABC.
Right.
It's made to watch live. So there's commercials on that. And it's annoying. Every single time it's annoying. Like, I understand these kids. I really do. I do. It's very annoying. Like, imagine growing up without it and then they start putting it in things. Like, how the hell do you want me to... I'm going to walk away and forget this, okay?
Well, we were watching, my mom and I watched the Hallmark Channel before Christmas. So a lot of the stuff we have DVR'd or whatever. So we were watching one of the ones that was recorded, and my brother was like, why aren't you fast forwarding through the commercials? I was like, because that's when I get up and like go to the bathroom or like I can like look at like, you know, like it's my rest. And he's like, that's stupid. Just watch the movie. I was like, but it's giving me like the break time to go do something or like wander away, but then I'll come back.
Yeah, you have the patience to come back and and enjoy a break. Like, even just getting kids sometimes to sit through an entire movie, even without the commercial breaks, is hard because it's what they've grown up on. The frame rate is different. Everything is so different. So it's a battle. Like, I haven't introduced my daughter to Harry Potter yet because I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, I've gotten her chapter books that are more.
I was going to say, could you read her the illustrated?
Kids her age.
The illustrated
I plan
one?
to.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, I don't know. I think I started reading them when I was 9. So I'm just
I would
pacing
have
it
been
the way
8.
that I did.
Yeah. I would have been 8.
Yeah. So she's 7. I'm seeing, it's really, really weird. When their baby teeth go away and they have like the gaps in the teeth, they still look really, really babyish. But her adult teeth are coming in and she really looks older now. And it's really tripping me out and freaking me out. And her voice is starting to get deeper and I'm starting to see it.
Yeah.
Like the face shape and everything. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, aging is a privilege and I want to be able to watch you and I want you to grow. But what the fuck is going on? What is this? So, but with those changes also comes like mental jumps too. So I think she's moving towards being ready for it. But if I push my shit on her too early, then it's going to cause she's going to be like, I don't really like it. And then when she's older, she's going to have an aversion to it. So I'm just waiting. I think 3rd grade is the sweet spot for everything.
Yeah.
Just being a teacher right now, I see it too.
Well, I can tell you what my mom did, and this might work with Harry Potter, some other stuff too. My mom, when I was like that age, my mom would read to me before I went to sleep, like a chapter or 2 a night, and it was her stuff. Like, I don't know if I would have picked it up on my own, but like The Secret Garden and The Little Princess, and she read me. There was like a fantasy series, which it was like her generation's Harry Potter almost, or was hers. It's by Susan Collins. It's called The Dark is Rising. And I don't know that I would have read it alone, but my mom was reading it to me like a chapter or 2 a night, and I was not allowed to like go and read it so it was like the anticipation almost, right? Like, I don't even know if I would have liked it, but I was like, I can't find out what happens next until bedtime the next night.
Yeah. Well, with kids now, they have like, there needs to be libraries in your classroom that kids take things out of. So there are series that are just like really popular with children that which is great. Like for us, I think it used to be Goosebumps. I don't know if that was everybody. Yeah. For me, certainly Goosebumps.
Or like My Teacher is a Vampire, like whatever those
Hell
were.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Or like Upside Down Wayward School, whatever. For this generation, they really like Magic Treehouse books. Yeah. So mine did Mia too. Has like every book. So we go through them every night. And she's like, where are they going now? They're starting to get too easy for her though. So now we're moving up to a different. We're moving up to other things. That's a very good idea with your mom, but the shit that I read on my own, I can't really read to her.
Don't like pick out books like Harry Potter or like your childhood books, you know? Like
I know, but my own personal library, like physical personal library is like
don't do that.
It's like Anne Rice and Stephen King, and I can't do that to the child. So
well, and who said like you could read it off your phone or whatever? Like my mom just had the physical book, and they weren't picture books, so she was just.
My mom never read to me. I liked reading alone. So I would get like Babysitter. I love Babysitter Club books.
Babysitter Club,
but I will always remember it like meant a lot to me when she passed down The Little Women to me. I really liked that. I was like, oh, this is something my mom liked. That's cool, and I really liked Little Women. So I'm gonna try to imbibe Mia with that a little bit.
There was Saddle Club.
Harry Potter.
Saddle Club. My mom was a horse girl, so she gave me some of like her Saddle Club.
That's cute.
Or like Misty. There was a horse. It was just like it was a series of stories about a horse, and her name was Misty or something.
It's nice that you had a reader mom.
Yeah,
my mom didn't.
My family's a reader family.
Yeah, mine's more like blue collar, loud. Italian American, like they didn't do that. But I just liked it on my own, so I would just read whatever I could get my hands on. And so it's really important to keep your classroom stacked like that. Kids out there, adults, teachers, really important.
Kids, keep your classroom stacked.
Seriously,
because your teachers have no money.
It's insane how much parents are not reading to kids at home.
Yeah,
like,
I believe it.
Just as a kid who had a parent that didn't read at home, it's not a new thing. So people are exhausted, tired, and don't like it, and they don't read, and they just don't. So keep your library stacked. Let kids be curious. Let them pick up what they want. That's why I'm not forcing shit on her yet. When in about a year from now,
you say forcing, like just start reading to her, and then if she doesn't like it, like be like, okay, we'll read something else. But
I do that with so many series and things that are like from the classroom, like series that I know kids like and whatever, and it works every time. If it's something that's near and dear to me, and she doesn't like it, I'm gonna get so sad.
That's your problem. Like
it's my problem. I know.
Watch Buffy for the longest time. Like,
I know.
Freaking out about it.
I know it's it's a personal problem. It's like, so you don't like me, okay? So you don't like the thing, so you don't like me. Got it. So you don't like your mother. All right. Well, I don't know how we get over this roadblock. But anyway, Princess Diaries is also one of those things. So I hope to sit down and actually watch it with her later at a later time. Because if people haven't put together yet, my daughter is named after Princess Mia Thermapolis. So that was just like a name I really latched onto when I was a kid. It wasn't popular when we were little. It's very popular now.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
I didn't know any Mias as a kid. Mm. And I was like, I loved how everyone said it. Even when they were like teasing her, they're like, Mia. I loved it. I just liked the sound of it. And then you find out it's actually Amelia. And I was like, pass. I don't want that like one.
Amelia either.
Just like Mia. Yeah, just like Mia. And then you know what? You meet people that will refuse to use the nickname. Or like people are like, well, her name's actually Amelia. Yeah. But everyone called her Mia in the movie. So she's Princess Mia. She's named after that. And I was telling Lauren last night, I feel like I kind of like manifested this child because while I don't think they're in the same house, my Mia has also a very sweet temperament, a very awkward but bubbly, cute, nice temperament. So I don't know. Maybe I just forced it all to happen. Could be. I'm a witch. I don't know. Just raising a child properly. I don't know. But I feel like they have a lot in common. But they're not the same house.
Nope.
Which is interesting.
Talk about Mia's house?
Should we start with Princess Mia?
I guess. I mean, last time you wanted to go from least significant to most, but we usually, I think, do.
Yeah, I don't know. I change every time we do this show. I don't have any consistency.
Usually we do most to least because the person who's most like connects to the other people. And
for sure. So let's start with
reveal shit about them.
Amelia Minuette.
No, Amelia Minuette Thermapolis Rinaldi.
Princess
of
Genovia.
Princess.
Hey, did you ever like the national anthem of Genovia like when you were a kid? Because it's been in my head my entire life.
I know it. Yeah, Genovia.
The land I call my home. Why is it so good? It slaps so fucking hard. That's been in my head forever. I don't know. That's how we should open the episode.
This is the first time we should have. I've never really like paid attention to where Genovia was supposed to be, and this is the first time I was really like, what? And it's like a little small principality between France and Spain. So I was like, okay. And then when they were in Genovia, I was like, it's all white people. I was like, that makes some sense.
I don't. She has a British accent. And it was
also that would have been modeled after the fact that all like royalty learning English, if their native language was different, all of them learning English would have learned the Queen's English. Like that was,
or is she married in, or she's the Genovian line? Well, she is
married in, but she's Genovian, I think. Like so, and so that's what I was also trying to figure out. I was like, what is their native language? Because everybody in this movie is speaking English, but but one girl was French, and then I saw some Spanish, which makes sense if they're in between Spain and France. So I was like
dancing with a Greek guy too at the ball.
Yeah, well, but that was all of the princes eligible. Yeah. So I was like, maybe it's French. Maybe their national language is French.
It's strange because Thermopolis sounds Greek. Like the polis at the end. But that's her mom.
That's her mom. Her dad's name is Rinaldi. Her mom is Thermopolis.
You're right.
Yeah.
Rinaldi
sounds French.
Or like. Yeah, it does. Well, okay, so they're friends. Sure. But they, to have put that level of responsibility on anyone, let alone a child, immediately tells you where Mia is because of how she reacts to it. Like, first of all, I really hated, when I was rewatching this, I never realized as a kid how much I disliked how much they lied to her. So I personally don't think that they should have kept that a secret. Like, oh, I want you to have a normal childhood. No, because then you're dropping a humongous bomb on them, still also in youth. Her brain's not done developing.
They were supposed to wait till she was 18.
That's still a kid.
18? To me. An adult.
Yeah, whatever, though. Like, you magically cross the threshold. It's like...
But that was her mom, right? That was what her mom wanted.
Yeah, I disagree with her mom hugely, but also Clarisse didn't interfere with it. She was like, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It wasn't her kid. Her son gave up that.
That's wild.
She was wild. She didn't have any say in it. I don't know.
It's a wild family dynamic. However, I don't think they should have kept it from her. But the reaction to Mia's reaction to it just tells you exactly what her house is, because If you can think of a house that would take that with grace and be like, yeah, cool. That makes sense. That's not Mia's house. She's immediately like, that's too much responsibility. Don't like that. So
Rachel last night was like, I just thought this was like a natural reaction.
It really did.
It was like Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan showed up at Anakin's door when he was like a little slave boy at age 8 and we're like, you're a princess. And dude was like, what took you so long to get here?
Yeah. It's a little bit like the quintessential, like, okay, the Gryffindor that you think of all Gryffindor is like Harry Potter, right? Like the actual character of Harry.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. He wakes up and gets told he's a wizard. And he's like,
I can't be a wizard. What?
I live in a cupboard and I get the shit beat out of me. And that's probably where I belong. So are you sure? And they're like, yeah, you're special and famous. And he's like, I don't fucking want that. They're like, yeah, you have millions of dollars in the bank. I don't want that either. Give that to my poor friend's family. What the fuck? You just don't want it. Like, I didn't ask for this. Leave me alone. I remember getting a lot of anxiety as a kid being like, my God, what if someone comes through my door one day and tells me I have to do some shit like this? I'm not doing that. You got the wrong one. Get out of here. And she immediately is like that. And also, immediately like myself, she hated the lying too. Can you imagine everyone lying to you like that? I'd be furious. In the second movie too, she's really mad at Chris Pine. I'm going to keep calling him Chris Pine. For quote unquote
Nicholas
lying.
Devereaux. He didn't lie. Oh
and
my
he's
God.
Like, he's like, girl.
He's so upset about it. He's
I'm
like,
not
I don't get it.
What do you mean? And she's like, hey, you're a liar. Everyone lies.
She's like, you didn't tell me your name. He's like, what would that would have meant to you? And then she's like, you didn't tell me you wanted the. He was like, why would I do that?
She's like, I would immediately lay all my cards on the table and tell you what I am. And you could just like look at me and figure it out. So there was also a screenshot I sent Lauren last night of the just like a picture of Mia getting crowned when she's like all wet in the first movie. And she's standing in front of the Genovian symbol, the flag, which is like a giant G with red and gold around it. And they put a red cloak on her. And she looks like the poster child for Gryffindor. It's so funny. So yeah, that is where we put Mia. I mean, when I went into it, I didn't know. I was like, all right, what is she going to be? It's obviously, I don't think about my childhood movies through the lens of Hogwarts houses most of the time. I was like, okay, she's got to be a feelings house. And then I was like, oh, she's like my Mia. My Mia is probably a Hufflepuff. And I was like, oh, is she like a Jessica Day? And then I was like, oh no, she doesn't have the quirkiness. No. What's this? What is she? And then she gets in the limo with Joe. And he's like, Joseph. She's like, haha, Joey. And he's like, no. So she immediately tries to nickname him, which I told Lauren to me is a dead giveaway for my house. I don't know why we do it. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
It's to amuse ourselves.
Affection.
It's
I don't know.
It's affectionate and amusement and merriment, and that's pretty much all we care about.
Merriment.
So she definitely is a little Gryffindor who did not want the responsibility of all that, who me and Lauren were talking a lot about her dynamic with Lily and how Lily is like really mean to her sometimes and like really unfair with a lot of stuff. I mean, they're both kids, so I try to be careful with that. And I know she's a teenager, but she's really mean to Mia, and Mia just takes it, which reminded me so much of Buffy, and Buffy just taking it from. I can't say the houses yet, but she's just taking shit. Okay, until eventually you like really push the Gryffindor too far, where she's like, "Well, you have bad hair." That's pretty much as far as it's gonna go if we love you. So I was like, "Oh, I know what you are. Ew, stop it! Don't do that. Be something else. Don't do it to yourself. You have a life of torture. You have a life of torture ahead of you. Be something else. No,
man, she's gonna be queen. She's queen.
Yeah, she ends up being awesome.
Yeah, no, I love Mia. Yeah, Rachel is probably gonna be the best at like explaining it. I like her before Rachel had like clocked in and like admitted she was a Gryffindor. She was like, "Oh, I did this. I imagined that I was kissing," and I was like, "Yeah, this is a Gryffindor thing."
Okay, so it's not. I know we don't all have the same lived experience. Like, I know that. But I just thought certain things were standard, right? Someone comes to your house and tells you that you're secret royalty, and your mom, who you love so much, has been lying to you about who you are your entire life. And you have this grandma who all of a sudden gives a shit. Okay, and this absent father, and everybody is just lying. And then they want you to rule a fucking country. pass on all of you.
No,
Fuck
but
you
you're
all, on the way down.
I imagine kissing whatever his name is too, and like
Eric Von Detten was the boy of my dreams as a child. He was in Brink on Disney, the Disney Channel, which was a skateboarder movie.
Yes,
tells you everything you need to know about me. And he was just like this, her mother even says to her, she's like, that boy band wannabe, that floppy 90s hair.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it as a kid. Loved it. So yeah, hell yeah! When I was a kid, I was like
this whole fantasy of like her foot popping and like all yeah.
And I was telling Lauren too. I was like, and that stayed with me, and that stayed with me, and that stayed with me, and like now it makes sense why things stayed with me because we have a lot in common.
Yep.
But like the foot popping thing, that was very important to me in my youth. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Your foot should pop. And I remember deliberately, like when I had my first couple of kisses, making my foot pop. I made it
doesn't
happen.
count.
I know, but those were gross.
No, you did.
They weren't Eric Von Detten.
You did mention something that, like, all of this stuff, like showing up at my door wouldn't bother me. The way that she so easily falls in with her grandma after her grandma, and she says it too. She's like, this woman who hasn't wanted contact with me for 15 years. Now she wants to speak to me about something. She so easily falls into a really genuine, loving relationship with Clarisse, which I think is Griffin. I would have been like,
really?
At first, especially, I would have been like, where have you been? Like, my dad just died. You want to be friends with me now? Like, and then I would have been like, oh, so you want to use me? And it's like, I'll be princess, but it's for me. Like, you know?
I didn't have that feeling at all. That's so interesting.
No, I wouldn't. Like, no. I love Clarisse. Like, it's not because it literally would have been anybody who like didn't pay attention to me the first 15 years of my life and then was like, now I want to be best friends. I would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
But Mia was like, me too.
Yeah, that's how I would have taken it too. It would have been like, I'm so grateful to have a fancy schmancy grandma to go take to get corn dogs and go arcade with. Like, that part of Mia's life I was really jealous of, not the ruling. Like, that part would have scared me deeply. But like, she got a really awesome grandma and this like step grandpa, like bodyguard, who's fucking incredible.
Yes. Yeah, not really.
And she gets to take her best friend in the limo and they get to like do fun all the perks are amazing. And I always thought the grandma was a perk. I think I really loved Clarisse. She does a couple things that like annoyed me, I guess, when I was a kid. Still today a little bit. But it's mostly because I just understand Mia so much. And everything she does to me is completely reasonable. Like I was telling Lauren last night, the whole shit with the boy, is his name Michael?
Yeah. It's
ridiculous where like Michael and Lily hold anything against her. You never told this girl that you like her. You're like fixing her car, but you're also her best friend's brother. So I would assume you're like,
and you work at the shop she brought the car to. So like,
I assume you're being nice.
Yeah.
So
and she's paying the shop. He's just like offering to do some random free labor, which she's like, thanks, because I'm Lily's friend. Like,
exactly. You know? Yeah. And he's very butthurt about it. And Lily's somehow really mad about it. And I'm like, yeah, you've been clued in this whole time. This boy likes your brother likes your best friend. You never said anything.
Right.
Because clearly Mia didn't know. Because she goes up to him and she's like, guess what? Josh asked me out. I'm so excited about it. Like, she wouldn't do that if she knew the guy liked her.
Right.
You know, that's just like cruel. So she was actually really excited about it. And that gets held against her. And then she fucks up at the beach, but it's not really her fault either. She trusts that this nice boy is a nice boy. No, it's not even her
fault at all. And it's like, and I'm like, what were they doing that this is like scandal? Like,
yeah, that was bad. That was bad. When you pointed that out to me too, I was like, holy shit.
The
kids at the beach.
Catching her kissing, I was like, I guess maybe, but yeah, they're kids at the beach. Like, she's kissing a boy at 15, sure. Right. But then the second part when they rip the tent off while she's changing clothes, I was like, who?
Yeah.
Which of the adults there were like, amazing idea. Let's get a photo of this naked 15-year-old.
Yeah, horrendous behavior. But yeah, maybe paparazzi was worse when we were younger. Like, maybe that was normal. Maybe that's what they would have done.
I'm sure this movie being filmed in 2001 was taking cue from like what happened to Princess Diana too.
Sure, yeah.
That was 1997.
Same thing, like her kids were followed around like that too. Like I remember Harry and William's like party years were in every magazine.
Yep. He was wearing the swastika, Harry. Yeah.
Oh boy.
That whole scandal. I just finished last season of The Crown.
I was talking more about like making out.
No. But I just watched the last season of The Crown, and it's like that was from a party, so it was just some kid at a party.
They were just out being kids, partying and being stupid as kids do. So like, and they weren't allowed to do it either without being like stalked and harassed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens to Mia. But everyone's like mean about it, pretty much except her mom. Her mom, she's like, I don't know. She reminds me of Bella's mom from Twilight. So that bothers me. Her mother bothers me a little bit. I don't know if you can tell.
The thing, I mean, I probably didn't like catch it as much because Mia wasn't that upset about it. Like she got over it really quickly. But the fact that her mom just decided to date her high school teacher when Mia's already like ostracized and yelled at by like everybody in high school and was like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about how this would affect you. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you don't think, woman. And Mia's like, yeah, I'll probably get bullied for that, Mom. And she's like, oh.
She's like, is it okay if I go out with him anyway, though? Like, and Mia's like, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not a fan of the mom.
No, but that's also very Gryffindor of Mia. Like, she feels responsible for other people's like happiness and and it's almost like Bella, her mom parentified her not for another sibling, for herself. You know, Bella's a Slytherin, but Bella had to take care of her mother. I think Mia, to a lesser extent, feels responsible for others' like happiness and emotion.
Yeah, she's certainly not parenting her mom the same way Bella Swan parents her own mother, but she's like giving her slack on everything. She's letting her get away with everything, which is something that Bella kind of did too, but Bella did it in a, well, you're stupid, so it's fine.
Right?
I'll take care of you and I love you.
It's like Mia's you have the brain capacity of a 5-year-old. So
exactly. Mia's is more like, well, I love you, so it's okay.
Right.
So it's like,
you're my only parent. My dad's dead, and he didn't want to talk to me. So
and then Lily's like, I thought you got over that by now. It's been 2 months.
It's been 2 months.
Lily, girl.
We didn't even know him.
My God.
Never even spoke to him. And Mia's like, he sent me really nice cards on my birthday. And Lily's like, so?
Lily's like, I hate my dad, so I wish I didn't know him. Actually, you're like kind of lucky. I told you I need an attitude adjustment. Like, yeah, you need like a brain transplant. You're a fucking asshole.
No, but the big thing that I saw from Mia was when she was like, no, I really don't think she's been taking quick princess lessons. She's like, I really don't think I'm cut out to do it. And she tells Lily, like, stop bothering me about it. Like, you can stop saying I'm stuck up or whatever. I'm not going to do it. And then Lily's like, talk about Lily. But then Lily totally switches gears and is like, what do you mean you're not going to do it? Like, you're going to have like the ability to actually make change in the world and you're just going to give that up? Like, that's so dumb. And then Mia's like, oh, damn.
But first Mia's like, has a very Gryffindor reaction where she's like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to make you happy. This should make you thrilled because you've been nothing but a bitch to me about it. I'm not going to do it. And she's like, but I want you to. And Mia's like, what the fuck did you just fucking say to me? All right, so run that back for me, bitch. She's like shocked. And then,
and she's like, you have like the power to make people's lives better. And he's like, damn it.
Yeah. Her whole speech at the end of the first movie is also very Gryffindor. Like, I can't tell you how much this is something I say to my other friend all the time. I'm like, I'm using the word I too much. Like, I'm talking about me too much. And it's something that bothers me that I don't know. I have to ask other Gryffindors. Do you notice when other people are all me, I all the time? Because it fucking bothers me. It irks me. So I don't want to do it. But I'm talking about something that happened to me, so I have to. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to do it. I don't want you to ever think I'm making your thing about me. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like self-centered or whatever. And if I catch myself only thinking and talking about myself, I get really annoyed at me. And I'm like, ew, this is disgusting behavior. Other people matter way more. So when she said that in the speech, that really clicked as Gryffindor. Which, again, though, I don't know if that's something that me and Mia have in common or if it's something that's across the board with Gryffindors. I don't know. I don't have many Gryffindor friends. So I have to go by characters.
I would say that's pretty Gryffindor.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, cool. So I'm not.
I can think of other. I can think of other characters like that too. Like every Gryffindor almost that Elle would be like that. Killian gets like that, where he's like, Emma, you've had such a worse life, and Emma's like, you've had a really bad life, and he's like,
right?
Nah. He's like,
I guess we tend to minimize whatever's happened to us because it's not a big. People go through worse, right? We're like the poster children for having a parent that was like someone else as suffering way more out there than you. So like, knock it off. And somehow I think we like really take that in our heads and we're like, okay, my shit does not matter at all. And then you don't deal with your shit, and then you go fucking crazy, and that's how you get a Gryffindor. But her speech was really, really of the house. Like, really, really of the house. And she was like, what if I take like a percentage of thinking about myself and I apply it to a country full of people? Dude, I care so much. I'd be so good. And I was like, right on. And she is. She ends up being great at it. And then in the second movie, that shit continues. Like when she's listening to listening to them go, you got to get married and to rule. And she's like, what the fuck? Clarisse is like disgusted. She's like, that is the most archaic bullshit. You sound dumb. And she's in a room with 40 men that are like, she must be married within 30 days. And Mia in the vent like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. Very Gryffindor reaction. The whole thing is extremely Gryffindor, that she's like, I don't want to, but I'll do it because I love my country. And it's like this, if this is what I have to do, I have a responsibility to Genovia to marry a man. I know. And then the whole like enemies to lovers thing with Nick, where she's like, I think she would have done it though. I loathe you. Yeah, she would have married Andrew. You think so?
If Nicholas wasn't there, yeah, I think she just would have done it. Like she didn't even, well, I don't know. I feel like she would have had more of a chance to like fall into a rhythm with Andrew if Nicholas wasn't there, being like, do you really like this? Because that's what freaked her out at the wedding, that Nicholas gave her those feelings that she was like, this could be so much better than what it is. If she didn't have that contrast, she might have just been like, whatever. My grandma did it, I can do it.
Yeah, nothing to compare to. Yeah, but she has it in her, which I also think, is very of our house too, where it's like, that's not how I want this to go. And I think that we get so defiant sometimes that we get in our own way, where it's like, this is for the good of Genovia, this is for the good of people, my grandma did this would be the right thing. But I really don't want to fucking do it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if Nicholas hadn't been there, she may have had a like runaway bride moment where she's just like, forget it. Can't do it. Because it's feels like a lie. And you know how we feel about lies. So it's like, that would have been really, really hard. So I don't know. I think maybe you're right that she could have fallen into a rhythm and maybe talked herself into it. But once she met him, that was over.
Yeah, I mean, none of us can really say. I think she would have like just taken it as like another like princess lesson, right? Like I don't think she really would have treated, like she would have been like, we're married and that really doesn't mean anything. now I'm queen.
Now I'll have a boyfriend on the side.
Yeah, or like whatever. That was the other thing too, watching that movie, never really thought about it as a child. That movie was really encouraging, like she like it was really like, this is, she should cheat and Nicholas is better.
Yeah, they really were pushing that. They were like,
yeah, they did not make it. They did not make it a bad thing. They were like, no.
It's me and Taylor Swift at the same age. That explains a lot about her behavior. We watched the same movies. Do you really want to know where I was April 29th? Huh? You want to know? She's like in the closet with Nicholas. Like she's hilarious because she can't see herself, right? And I think a lot of Gryffindors have this problem where you can't see how you're coming off. But you're so like righteous and indignant about something that you don't care. Yes. She's like in his face, in his personal space. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to inhale your cologne and I want you to like wrap me in it and take me away. Mm-hmm. But she's like, this looks like I'm mad and I'm being funny and scary. And it's like, it's not, honey, it's not. You have to, you got to stop. She's like, I got to get closer to him to yell more to show how mad I am. Yeah, you look real mad. Look really angry. She wants him so bad from the beginning. It's so funny.
Oh my God. I don't blame her.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. I guess you have to talk a little bit about we'll talk about Chris Pine in a minute. But
Nicholas Devereaux.
Yeah. So, yes. Not wanting the responsibility of something, but coming into it and being a fantastic leader but it's been thrust upon you. Growing into the role and being good at it. Very Gryffindor. Not liking the lying, not liking the bullshit, not liking the how any of this goes, right? It's all fucking annoying, the bureaucracy of it. It's annoying. Don't tell me I have to get married. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. That's annoying. She's very Gryffindor that way. The forgiveness and immediately getting over things just because she loves the people around her. Very Gryffindor. She just, that's it. She's a Gryffindor. I don't want to hear it.
Nope.
I think we should do Nicholas next.
Okay.
Because I just want to.
He's
Probably not the
pretty
most
quick. Rachel did not. The movie started and she was like, "Oh, he's a Slytherin," and I didn't confirm for her. He is. I didn't confirm for her though because I was waiting for her to like give me reasons. Heard nothing about it the rest of the movie.
I don't need
She
it.
just
He's so
she
obvious.
just would say he's a Slytherin.
He's really obvious from the beginning. Well, no, what gave it away was that I was attracted to him, and I'm never attracted to Chris Pine. It's the only time in my life I've ever been like, wow, he's so handsome. And it's the personality.
And then she was like, because Chris Pine, well, we can't say what his house is, I guess, because he's a real person. But he is who we were talking about groups of people last night, and you mentioned two other men. Okay, so he's that. Yeah. So she was like, "Can he do everybody?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I've seen him do every house." We James T. Kirk is
Insane.
a Gryffindor. Yeah,
Right.
I'm pretty sure, even though it's not a really big role, I'm pretty sure the prince in Into the Woods is a Hufflepuff. And I'm fairly certain I've seen him do. We have seen him do Slytherin. And his natural
Ravenclaw's
state.
the one
His natural state. So,
it's our opinion.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's an opinion.
Fine. It's fine.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying we don't say it like with the confirmation that we say it of characters that are real.
Right.
Like it's the inkling that you get when you look at a person, and it's really obvious. But yeah, no, I didn't feel like I needed to say very much about it. I was kind of just engrossed in the movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean,
like that movie a lot.
I can give you, because I had to come up with, because honestly, I wasn't really sure that Rachel would go with me. So I came up, I was
Really?
like, yeah. So I came up with his uncle is the one, like, this is why I thought maybe people would argue it too, because his uncle's like puppeteering everything and he's just going with it, right? Like his uncle's the one who wants him in power because his uncle's power hungry and he like wants Nicholas to be king, blah, 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 blah. Right. So he's telling Nicholas that he should do this, and Nicholas is going along with it. And it's mainly what it is that his uncle is like, this is what your father wanted, and his father's dead. And you can tell that Nicholas must have really loved his father because he's like, you're sure Dad wanted it? Because they're starting to do things to Mia that Nicholas is like, this is kind of like evil. Yeah. And his uncle's like, no, your dad wanted this. And Nicholas is like, okay, if you're sure. And then also it's like, he's not going to argue being king. Like he totally thinks he should be king. Yeah. Clarisse asks him, she's like, what's wrong with Mia? And he's like, Mia is not Genovian. She hasn't spent any time here. He's like, I know the people. I grew up with the people. I am one of the people. He's like, how can you rule the people if you don't know the people? Which I think is a very solid, not like bitchy, petty
it was a really
thing to say.
Yeah, no, it was fair,
but also, yeah, it was fair too. That's what I mean. It wasn't like, I just don't want her there. Like he actually has like, I really think that this might be an issue. And Clarisse, you can tell, agrees with him because the immediate thing she does is like throw a party where she has Mia like meet people.
Well,
but
I can't say it yet, but there's another character in the movie that is in his house that was another giveaway for me that I was like, the other character is like, you're making points.
Yes.
Points were made.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, that was one of the things too, the conversations between the two of them where I was like, Nicholas is a Slytherin because of the way that he's interacting with this person. But those were the big things for me. And then the closer and closer he gets to Mia and falls in love with her, he's like, I don't want to do it anymore. I really, really, really love her. So like the fact that she like became his person, like overcame the fact that, and then he was like, my dad didn't really want this. And he's like, I think Mia will make a fantastic queen. And he like,
he's like, she genuinely will. He's like, she's a good person who cares.
Right. Yeah. He makes that whole speech.
Kind of what you fucking need. And he's like, and with me at her side, well, then
exactly.
That's but that's her choice.
That's what he's like, and she loves me. So like,
he's like, she's smart enough to know that I'm a good partner. You know, I have faith in her. He's it's something too that our houses share. It's the don't tell me what to do of it all. Like, I know better. Okay. Like for us, I think it's, I know myself better and I wouldn't do that to you. So don't do it to me. For Slytherins, I think it's, I know better.
Yeah. Well, and like
but the result is the same.
The way that he goes nuclear on his uncle too, like the thing is that his uncle sent the cameras after him and he's like, what the fuck is your problem? He's like, I
perform for me, not for you.
I am upset about it. He's like, you set me up and this was a genuine moment. No, but you can see like when his uncle's, when Nicholas the first time is like, I think Mia's really set on marrying somebody and she's going to do it and she's going to become queen that way. And his uncle's like, make her fall in love with you. And Nicholas is kind of like, you can tell he's kind of like, I would like that because she's hot.
I'm not opposed to that in a general sense.
No, but he is and you can tell he has fun poking her as long as she pokes back. Like, he loves fighting with her. That moment with the horse where she gets embarrassed and she's in the barn crying and she's like actually crying and is like, just go away. You can tell he's immediately like, oh no. I don't like this.
He's not so far right Slytherin male that he's just like gonna take whatever and like at all. He's not. He's really not.
No.
He really because as much as those Slytherin men like actually do care and do have true capacity to love, the need to control is so insane on the right side of the Slytherin scale, like especially with the dudes. And Nicholas doesn't have that. He's very like, it's like the other Slytherin in these movies that we'll talk about. Very respectful of other people's choices and wants and desire. Like, he's very respectful of it. He just is also like, I know that we would be great, but you need to, like Lauren, you need to poke back. You need to be like, it needs to be reciprocated.
This has to be fun for you too. Otherwise, it's not fun for me. I also think Nicholas is much more prone to, I mean, all Slytherins are prone to like how people view them. But I think Nicholas, like, and like Rachel was just saying, the right side guys, like, they love being seen as like the controlling power. Like, I have all the power. Like, you think about Damon and Spike or whatever. Like, they love being seen like that. Like, that's their thing. I don't think Nicholas is like that. Yes, perceive me as powerful and controlling. Nicholas wants people to think he is a nice, good, like, and that might be a product of growing up as like in the hierarchy, he's a lord in Genovia.
Sure.
But like when he's in the barn with Mia and Joe comes in to talk to Mia, the thing that Joe says, and he says the best thing he could possibly say, he says, am I going to be disappointed in you, Nicholas? And you can tell immediately that's like, oh, fatal blow. Like, from a father figure? Get out of here.
Yeah, also, do you think his uncle's a Hufflepuff?
Probably, yes, I do. I do.
I'm getting Cedric Diggory's dad all up in this bitch.
Yep.
But yeah, so sorry, it's another Gryffindor Slytherin parent. I mean, what did you want?
Sorry,
Lauren pointed out,
Disney Channel in early 2000. Like, sorry.
I feel Lauren, like, yesterday we were talking about Michael, and we were like, he's so not for her. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And she's like, yeah, well, there's a better house for her coming. I was like, yeah, I know already. I felt like he was a really obvious sort. I'm like disappointed that you didn't think I would see that.
No, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just didn't think he was obvious, or I'd have to fight for him. Or it would be like, of course, Lauren wants Chris Pine in her house.
You just want to fight with Chris Pine. I thought you were going to put Mia in Hufflepuff at first.
No, God, no.
Yeah, because like I said in the beginning, with just like the awkward Jessica Day of it all, I was seeing it a little bit.
And it's probably because I came off of Lily. I knew Lily before, like, watching the movie and thinking about it, and I knew I knew Mia wasn't a Hufflepuff because Lily is.
So let me just tell you straight up, after our Mean Girls episode, when I first got into it, I remember this movie way more than I remembered Mean Girls, and I remember thinking that she has like a Hufflepuff air to her, right? But then I started watching it last night, and she has like what the hell is the girl's name? Janice from Mean Girls? Yeah. She has like the hair and the look and the style and the vibe. And I was I was like, I hope Lauren doesn't think she's a Gryffindor and I'm going to have to fight against it because she's giving off a similar vibe. But Janice was different about it.
She's not at all.
Way different about it.
Like, they just look similar. They
have like the edgy girl look where they're both like loud and like really opinionated. And I was like, oh, please don't make me fight against this. I don't want and I really didn't.
No, it's even different. It's even different in the way that they yell back at people. Like when they're like, "What's nice wig, Janice? What's a negative?" Like, your mom's chest hair. It's totally different with Lily when she's like, "Iggy, Stimpy, stuff it." Like it's so different.
Are you gonna back me up? Am I right? Tell me I'm right.
Yeah. Lily is like very it's not just like like Janice as a Gryffindor is just like yelling back and moving on with her life, like whatever. Lily is like taking it to heart and is like petty back about it. Yeah, and is holding on to it. When she goes after Mia for fucking getting her hair done, she's like, I can't believe you'd be one of those girls that had this kind of haircut. I thought we agreed that we were going to counterculture, Mia. Like, can't believe you'd sell out like that. And Joe in the front is like side-eyeing the fuck out of it. like Mia.
Joe's like, don't make me backhand you from over here. Yeah, and Mia not fighting back. Oh my God, it is. It's like watching Buffy all over again where you're like, yeah, say something back. And eventually she does. And it's the only time when she kicks back a little, Lily stops.
When she's like, you have to shut up because I'm a princess. And then Lily's like, oh my God, now you can be on my talk show. And
Just because your hair sucks doesn't mean that you get to talk about mine. And Lily's like, what did you say? And Mia's like,
and Michael's in the corner like, he got him.
Yeah, Lauren clocked Michael as a Ravenclaw, which I agree with.
Yeah.
His system's M&M's because we don't have another one for him. So that's probably a really funny household dynamic.
Would sit there silently and then be mad that you didn't realize that they were in love with you.
Did you not read my mind? I'm sending air signals through my brain to you.
Obvious. I've said nothing. I make no facial expression.
As a matter of fact, the fact that you didn't pick up on it, I'm no longer attracted to you. I need a woman who can receive my brainwaves.
The way that they write him off at the beginning of the second movie when it explains why she's no longer with Michael, she's just like, Michael and I decided we're better friends. I was like, you got that right.
Yeah. They're not the kind of Gryffindor and Gryffindor and Ravenclaw can work. They're like so far apart. Like, oh my God, it's so bad. But the Hufflepuff and Gryffindor best friend relationship works really well here because
especially when Lily
kick and punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mia is really, really forgiving. So she like lets her get all her teenage angst and rage out. That's what it is. She's very angsty. Like she really believes in whatever the cause is.
Justice for animals, for the environment, for like whatever. She's like very, she goes to Berkeley to do like.
Which is something also that I thought maybe you were going to pick up on and put in Gryffindor because you know a lot of Gryffindors that are very socially justice driven. And if you think about like Hermione with the fucking dwarves or elves, whatever, I don't remember anymore. Spew. But we also can be that way. But like, I would never. Just watching her, I'm constantly going through the whole movie. Like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. So I was like defending my feeling against the Phantom that disagrees with me.
It's like different. I don't even want to get into it's way too deep a discussion to have about Spew. And it's like, but on the surface, she was doing something for people who didn't want anything done for them. So she was like, I'm doing it because it's right. But like none of them were. Lily's like hopping around these different obvious, right? Yeah. Like don't pollute the planet, save the whales or whatever, So like,
we'll pick a hyperfixation of an injustice that we perceive. Like, I don't think that should happen to you. And the person who's
regardless
like
of what you think,
punched is like, well, I enjoy being kicked and punched. It's like my favorite thing. It's my kink. And we'll be like, that's dumb.
You're wrong.
There's a better way.
Wrong. You've been brainwashed.
Well, I wouldn't want that for me. So why do you want that for you? So yeah, it's a very different, like justice-driven behavior. And yes, she does get fixed a lot in the second movie. There's like nothing wrong with her in the second movie at all.
No, she's helping Mia. Yeah, you'd think that she would be like, don't do an arranged marriage. Like, why? But she's totally like supportive of like helping Mia do it in the way that she has to do it.
Her hormones needed to calm down.
Yeah. Well, like,
she's
the guy who yells.
Literally, my whole life up to now, there are certain movies that like you take quotes from.
Yeah.
Not you. I don't even know you. It's like one of my favorite things. I literally, anytime someone turns around and looks at me, I'm not you. I don't even know you. And it's just stuck in my head forever. I love that. She's really funny.
She is.
And
she is when the guy is yelling at her and she's like, why are you yelling? And he's like, it's my job. She's like, what do we all yell like that? Lily Moscovitz and getting in the car. He's like, that's hot.
She's really when she has her emotions under control, she's a really good friend to Mia. She saw that Mia didn't like.
She was helping her get Andrew, right? Like she was helping her be like, make the best situation out of this. And then when Mia was like, actually, I want to go cheat with this Hawkeye, Lily's like, how can I help? Like, whatever. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. It was a kid thing. But even like as kids, when Mia takes the hat off and it's the straightened hair, and for whatever reason, she's embarrassed of being hot. She takes the hat off and she's like, yes, I do have beautiful, silky, amazing, gorgeous hair. Please don't look at me. Oh my God. And Lily's like, I don't even why are we talking about the fucking hair? Can I learn? Just like she defends her and jumps in. The Voltaire. Personally, I would like to learn about Voltaire. So yeah, she ends up being a very good friend, which Hufflepuffs can be. They got to get the emotions under control, which is fair. I mean, it's fair. It's an emotion house. You know, it's like, I always think about Annie Edison from Community, where like so put together, so poised, so whatever. But the second like something triggers her or like pisses her off, she's literally screaming. Like she's one of the gifts that come up when you're looking for like a screaming gif. It's the Annie Edison just because it's injustice. And that's Lily's whole thing too. When Mia doesn't show up on the show, it's an injustice to her. How could you? It's not justice.
Yeah, and then Mia's like, well, I'm not going to be a princess. And Lily's, that's injustice. Like,
yeah. But she figures it out, and she's a great best friend at the end of the day. When they're 21. They're 21 in the second one, right?
Yeah.
22, 21, 22. Yeah. So they're good. They grow up and everyone's fine. And we said Michael's a Ravenclaw. And so let's do Clarisse.
Clarisse and Joe.
Yes, Clarisse and Joe. We'll start with Clarisse. Lauren did like way more research into her and like paid way more attention than I did. I was just taking her for face value.
My grandma.
Oh yeah, I know. Can you imagine?
I've told
Julie Andrews.
It's Julie Andrews reminds me of my grandma, not necessarily because they're similar, but I think it's less Julie Andrews and more Clarisse in her relationship with Mia. Just reminds me of my grandma. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma,
nice.
I do not think my grandma's Clarisse's house. Maybe I haven't really thought about it. Haven't really thought about it. Maybe she might be.
I bet you she is.
She might be. Now that I'm thinking more about it.
Well, Clarisse is she's the other, I would say, like, other side of the coin of the most important player in the movie, right? You've got Mia, obviously, but then you've got Clarisse. And I think it's very easy to, when you're watching, from the lens of, like, where am I going to put her? It's very easy to, at first, be like, oh, she could be, like, a Hufflepuff woman who, community is the country. Like, that's what matters most to her. Like, Genovia is everything. She's very like well put together and expects that of Mia as well, and doesn't understand why Mia doesn't like. Sorry, my Google Home went off. But that felt too. It was like, it's like it fits, but it doesn't, right? Because you very quickly see that Genovia obviously matters to Clarisse, but Clarisse really clearly has a circle.
It's also clearly a logic house. I thought that was the most obvious.
So, yeah, I think so too. But some Hufflepuffs can come off very logical,
I guess.
So at first, if you're thinking just from a lens of like, where does this one fit? She's also like very sweet. Like she is actually like, really, really sweet. She doesn't have the when you have like an older Slytherin woman in a power role, usually they're more like vicious about things, and they're very, very obvious about the fact that like, I know what the fuck I'm doing and you're incompetent and fucking stupid. And Clarisse has it a little bit, but she doesn't let it out. You just see it in her eyes and in her expressions.
I was going to say, she does some passive aggressive.
It's passive aggressive,
like when Sandra Oh as vice principal hands her the teacup and she's like,
yeah.
Or like when she's at Mia's mom's house and she like wipes the cup down with her.
Yes.
Like,
So that's where it was in the little things that she was doing where I was like, oh. No. You're a Slytherin. You're a Slytherin lady. And she's like, she's one of the poised, classy Slytherins, right?
Yeah, she's not like a queen is never late. Everybody else is
right.
And she's like, we never rush. We hasten. Like, you know.
If you put her in contrast with another like powerful Slytherin woman, like what's her name on Ted Lasso? Is it Rebecca?
Rebecca.
Yeah. She's in there playing a game, like a manipulation game, and like trying to fuck shit up.
Past
and like
all that. Her husband just died.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I'm getting old. This little girl needs to take my place. Like, let's go.
Yeah. It's the also it was the relationship with Mia for me. I understand Lauren's perspective as the granddaughter. Like if you're a Slytherin being like, well, you're trying to use me. Like, what do you want from me? But if you're the Slytherin grandmother, it's then like, no, you're my granddaughter. Like, I love you. Like, I immediately love you because you're my granddaughter.
I think the thing with Clarisse is like she's achieved ultimate power, right? Like if you take Rebecca, for example, Rebecca's coming off of a divorce where her husband had all the power and she just like stole his football team from him, right? So she's trying to prove herself. Clarisse is like, what else is there for me to do? Like,
right.
You know? Like,
But she does, like we were talking about it last night, she does like immediately really fully, all-encompassingly love this kid.
Yes.
Now, there's factors and reasons, right? Like her son died, and this is the last living piece of her son that exists on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So that matters. Obviously, her son was in her circle. Obviously, she loved her son a lot.
I think she loves Genovia. She's not a Rinaldi. She married into the Rinaldis, but I think she would be more upset than she led on to Mia if she was responsible for like the death of their line as like the rulers of the country, you know? So
the thing also that I was telling Lauren yesterday that almost threw me off of Southern with her was that while I agree and I think that it would bother her, she didn't let it on. And she also didn't try to manipulate Mia at all. She was very like, okay, if that's what you're comfortable with, that's fine. Like she respected every single choice that Mia made. And Nicholas, this is what we were talking about before, is exactly the same kind of Slytherin. Like they have to be very close on the scale because it's the same thing. It's like, if that's your choice, I respect your choice. Like I wouldn't do it that way. I just want to make that clear. I wouldn't do it this way, but I'm not going to force you. And that's very like, that's very like Lauren herself. Like, it is though. Like you can certainly judge a situation and be like, I wouldn't handle it that way. But like very much are like, do whatever you need to do though. Like it's all,
you're going to learn, like you'll come back later.
Yeah. But you don't let that part out. You don't let that part out.
No.
Like when you're talking to someone, you don't show it. And Clarisse doesn't show it either. And neither does Nicholas. And it makes for like a person you can actually be friends with, right? Like being friends with Damon Salvatore would be very difficult. Because he's telling you, I don't like you, and I think you're fucking stupid.
Elena. I just saw that sound is going around TikTok, the argument they had where he's like, well, then stop loving me. And she's like, I can't. She's clearly like, I would love to. You're so difficult.
You're making this really hard. No, these kinds of Slytherins, like Princess Diaries Slytherins, are really, really easy to get along with. And like, they're the best kind, I think, personally, because they have your best interest at heart. And yes, sometimes they're a little misguided, right? Like Clarisse immediately was like, why didn't she have the common sense to handle this paparazzi situation on the beach at 15 years old? And Joe's like, she's a kid. You need to rein it in. And Clarisse immediately was like,
Well, and a little more realistically, she's like, why would Mia go sleep with a man who's not her fiance?
Right. Also true.
In the forest. And yeah.
Why was she out canoodling? But like she didn't get it, so she immediately wrote it off as like that's fucking stupid, and she shouldn't do this. Like then she's not ready for the responsibility.
Well,
and
yeah, that's like, what. Yeah, she's like, chill. I married somebody I didn't love, so everybody should be able to.
Right. So it's what I like about this kind of Slytherin is
she's like, just make him your head bodyguard and love him from a distance until your husband dies. Like,
right. So it's like the inability at first to put this is something that these Slytherins have in common. They can't immediately put your shoe on and understand your perspective. Like they can't immediately do that because they're coming from a place of their own
I
brain,
did it.
their own
I
self.
figured it out, and
like,
I'm fine.
I would do it this way. Like I don't right. So they don't take in like your history and like your life and whatever the fuck it because they're like that's just not okay. Great, but that's not how like you do this. Let me tell you how you do this. But when it clicks, that it's like be a little more empathetic. Like maybe show a little more grace here. Like maybe. Think about it this way. They immediately get with it. Immediately are like, oh, I'm going to do the right thing then. You're right. Like, maybe they're just a silly little child. Like, we'll fix it. It's fine. Whereas I really do think there are other Slytherins down, like, more extreme Slytherins that are like, you're dumb. Mm-hmm. That's dumb. I don't want to see from your perspective. It's stupid. By the time you get to Anakin, it's like, you don't even exist. The other people don't exist in the room. It's a scary walk down the Slytherin line all the way to the right side. It slowly gets more and more like, you are nothing. If you are not me, you are nothing. So I think we've got like lefties over here in the Princess Diaries, and it's the place I'm very comfortable.
Yeah. I love Korea. The other two big things, like this was a little thing, but when Mia's car hits the streetcar and then the police and everybody show up and they're like, you have diplomatic immunity, but your granddaughter's got to go in the station or whatever, and she like quickly comes in that with, she's like, well, let me knight you. And like, right. They're like, oh, we love you. And she's like, yes. Like, yeah, it's very very Slytherin, like very quick thinking. And then her whole thing where Joe is like, your husband's dead. Like, can we get married now? I've been waiting. And she's like, no. There was always an excuse. And I think it was like that bit of fear where it's like, I've figured things out and I'm very comfortable in how I figured things out. And I'm like in a figured out place. And she's also older and she's like, I don't really want to invite conflict or like change or anything happening. Right. Like, this is fine. And Joe's like, not fine for me. And then she's like, okay, I guess we can get married. Joe's like, I will be leaving. And she's like,
Okay, so that leads us really well into Joe because they're the other relationship in the series. And Joe is a really interesting one. So
I love Joe. We both love Joe.
I think for me and Lauren, I think he's probably the best character in the series. We both really, really love him. Like he was like my hero of the movies because he always was the one defending Mia. Like he has no problem roughing up the next door neighbor, like, or threatening anybody in the second one. Makes the funniest
little insulting quirks, but you just love it. You're like, that's great.
Yeah. So you obviously know he's not an emotion house. Like, just look at him and listen to him. So, but I said to Lauren last night, I was like, so then do you have him in Gryffindor? I'm sorry, do you have him in Slytherin or Ravenclaw? And she immediately said Ravenclaw, and I was like, me too, but I don't think I can justify it because I just only watched the first one. Did the second movie help you?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
but
good.
Also talking through it helped me when I was explaining my rationale to you. I was like,
I didn't answer at all because I was letting you talk. I was like, okay,
yeah, good. I know. I worked it out in my own brain, but it's that he's so literal in what he wants and expects and thinks. So it's like, no, you may not give me a nickname. Right. Yes, you should date me and be with me. Yes, you are a widow. It's time you've worn black too long.
And he's like, I became your bodyguard and I'm here because you will marry me eventually. And when she was like, that actually might not happen, he's like, no, I need to leave. I guess this is over. Yeah. I gotta go.
Yeah. And I mean, he means it. Like, he doesn't say anything that he doesn't mean. He doesn't, like, he's not a talker. You know, like, his words have to matter when they land.
He's gossipy. We mentioned that too. He knows everything. Yeah. He's like, the maids know everything. He's like, I know all the shit going on here.
They're going through the men for Mia, like, to potentially date. Yeah. And he's like, that one is a great guy to his boyfriend. And they're like, all right, how the hell did you know that? Never mind. Yeah. And he just knows. And you know he has the best gossip, and he's only going to share it at moments that he wants to share it or that are important. He knows everything. And I like how much he respects Clarisse. And I really do think, like, that level of patience, I don't know if we've said it before on here, that's like a really big Ravenclaw thing to be able to just sit and wait. Hugely Ravenclaw, because I don't have the patience. I was going to
say that's a little bit of an overlap with Slytherin. Although I think the difference is that Slytherins need to know there's something at the end, like Amy Pond. Yeah. I think Ravenclaws, in this case, Joe did have something at the end that he was expecting, but I think Ravenclaws can just do it for the hope that maybe something will happen.
They can, which is insane. There's a character on a show, we may talk about it one day, that I have in Ravenclaw, and Lauren's never seen it, but this character literally waits like a stone for like 10 to 15 years. Doesn't move at all. Like, just waits. And it's insane. And Amy Pond's a good example of a cross-reference because she's literally the girl who waited.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to give
she
her
was
a
like,
reason.
He's coming back, yeah.
She's biting therapists.
And then she was furious, right? She was like, that was too fucking long. Like, you know?
Yeah. It's almost like the Ravenclaw doesn't necessarily need the payoff. They just are like...
Yeah, I think that their payoff is that it's a possibility, right? It could happen.
Isn't that wild? I can't do that.
It's crazy.
I know. I could never. But Joe is very much that.
I guess that's what it is too. Clarisse shoots it down and is like, never happening. And he's like, okay, bye.
Well, then, I'm not going to work for you anymore. Come on. And I love their little relationship. I love when the other assistant is always just kind of looking at them and she's like,
oh my God, Charlotte.
Give you a minute.
Charlotte. I love Charlotte.
It's so cute when she like lets them dance and lets them have their little private moments, whatever. I'm like, right on, Charlotte. Exactly. Let them fall in love. It's so cute. They're a very, very good pair. And I love seeing like a good Logic House pairing. Like when you see a Hufflepuff and a Gryffindor, it's like so much. It's like so much over the top. Like, all right, Dean and Cass, all right. I get it. You love each other. God, I'm gonna die for you. I'm gonna die for you. So much.
I'm gonna die first.
I'm gonna die first. No, me. this is like a Logic House period. It's so much more like, I have these feelings. Do you have these feelings? I do. I really do. It's just that
But
like I
there's some
have
logistics that are in the
conflicted
way.
feelings
Yeah.
and whatever. And like, well, then that leads to some conflicts for me. So I'm going to have to go. It's just like, but there's still like there's a passion. Like you see it with these two. I love it. I love them. I really, really enjoy that Mia gets to have her like really passionate thing while her grandma also is getting her really, because grandma didn't have that with her first husband.
No.
So it's like really, it's
She
just
said,
really
I think she
satisfying for
said
her.
we became very great friends, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
But Joe, what did you say? What did you say Joe's best line was?
Oh, fucking
fear.
when it's in the barn again, when the uncle comes in, when Joe wants to talk to Nicholas and then his uncle shows up. And so Nicholas leaves and then he's like, I want you to know. He's like, if you touch my girl, he's like, I will do bad things to you. And I have diplomatic immunity in 48 countries, including Puerto Rico. And the guy's like, I think you'll find that the word fear is not in my vocabulary. And he's like, no, but it's in your eyes. It's the hardest fucking line.
He just drops these lines sometimes.
Yes.
You just like, Joe,
also him
God
just like
damn.
casually calling Mia my girl always got me.
I know.
I was like, I want someone to call me my girl.
I want a Ravenclaw bodyguard. So you've got, I think you pretty much have all the houses in the main characters. I don't think there are any other really important characters. I don't really care to sort her mother, if I'm honest with you. She bugs me.
No, we about got everybody. It's about cleaning. Rachel sorted Lionel, if anybody remembers his 2 seconds in the second movie.
Lionel's a Gryffindor. Yeah, Lionel, the one that's training to be a bodyguard. Yeah,
Charlotte, I think, is a Slytherin too. I don't know if I really
could be.
Yeah, I think she is. She runs Clarisse's life, and then at the end of the movie, she became like a Supreme Court judge. And then I was like, oh, obviously she's not like the palace coordinator anymore. She was. She was there. So I was like, oh, okay, girl.
That's Clarisse's standards for someone running her shit. Yeah. But I like it. I like that Mia has a Slytherin thing. Obviously, she like really likes the Slytherins. She has a best friend Hufflepuff, but like if you see who she really gravitates towards, she really loves her grandma. She really immediately loves Nicholas. So I get that in her. I really love that character. She was a big part of my life growing up. So much so that it like carried into naming my child. So it's just, it was fun to rewatch and to remember like why. And it was also fun to look at it through, we're the same house. That makes a lot of sense.
Supposedly for so many years, Princess Diaries 3 has been in production, or not in production, but they have a script or something. I don't know. I'm just hoping.
It's
especially when you see the way Chris Pine and Anne Hathaway look right now.
Oh my God. Get it on film immediately. Oh my God. They look so good. This is actually their prime. We need to like immediately get cameras on.
We need to immortalize it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be attracted to him again. Come on. I also think Anne Hathaway, I've seen her play other houses, but I think she does Gryffindor best, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Have you seen Dungeons and Dragons? The movie?
I started it. It didn't grab me.
Oh, okay.
Did you like it?
You might be yeah, I did. I loved it a lot.
I might give it another chance. I know George wants to.
And I really, really liked it. And I hear from people who play Dungeons and Dragons, it's a really clever way of doing it. People have said that it feels like a game happening in real time. So that's cool. But I love Chris Pine's character. Like that's mostly what I paid attention to when I went to see it. Yeah, but I think he's much. I haven't really thought about sorting him yet, but he's much more reminiscent, I think, of Nicholas than he is of Kirk. So
interesting.
Yeah,
he plays Gryffindors really well, though.
Yes, he does.
That was a really obvious sort, like really quickly. Mm-hmm. So I always appreciate that when actors do the character so well that I'm like, that's Gryffindor. Like you fucking immediately. I love it. I don't have to sit there and wait for your dialogue. I looked at the expression. I looked at the way your eyebrow lifted when that person spoke to you. Yeah, Aaron Gryffindor. All right. I like that. But yeah, we both got good characters that we like in our own houses. Go us.
Yay! So next to like finish out this 2000s rom-com is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Woo! Which just had its third movie come out in September, which I haven't seen yet. So we'll get to lucky day to see that for this podcast.
Hell yeah. I am Greek, so you will be hearing a lot of Greek shit from me.
Good.
Because I fucking love that movie. That movie is the reason that I have my husband. So it's the first thing we ever bonded over. Who's also Greek. But yeah, we'll catch you next time for that. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
Hey, bye.
Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!